Ever wondered how the richest black pastor in the world spends his millions? From luxurious properties to philanthropic ventures that change lives, Bishop David Oyedepo's financial choices are as fascinating as his journey to success. In this video, we'll reveal surprising, shocking ways he invests his wealth that you won't want to miss. Humble beginnings. Bishop David Oyedepo is more than just a Nigerian preacher. He is a global figure in Christianity and the founder of Living Faith Church worldwide, popularly known as Winners Chapel. This church has a significant presence in over 300 cities globally, including all Nigerian states. Born on September 27, 1954, in Osogbo, Nigeria, Bishop Oyedepo grew up in a mixed-faith household. His father, Ibrahim Oyedepo, was a Muslim healer, while his mother, Dorcas Oyedepo, was a devout member of the Cherubim and Seraphim movement. Raised by his grandmother, he was introduced to Christian teachings early on. He became born again in 1969 through his teacher, Betty Lasher, who played a pivotal role in his spiritual development during his high school years. But a young David's spiritual journey didn't stop there. The beginning of his ministry. In 1981, he reported receiving an 18-hour vision in which God instructed him to liberate the world from satanic oppression through the word of faith. This experience marked the beginning of Living Faith Church worldwide, initially called the Liberation Faith Hour Ministry. Starting in Kaduna, the ministry relocated to Lagos in 1989, following divine guidance to expand. By 1998, Oyedepo began the construction of Canaan Land, a 530-acre facility in Ota, Ogun State. This location houses the Faith Tabernacle, a 50,000-seat auditorium that was once the largest in the world, and is currently building the Ark, a 100,000-seat facility. Beyond his role as a pastor, Oyedepo has made significant contributions to education and social development. He founded Covenant University and Landmark University, both of which are among Nigeria's leading tertiary institutions. Through the social development missions arm of his ministry, he oversees schools, hospitals, and other community projects. His teachings also reach future leaders via the Word of Faith Bible Institute. Married to Faith Abiola Oyedepo since 1982, the couple has 4 children who are also active in ministry. 2 of his sons, David Jr. and Isaac, serve as pastors in Nigeria and the United States. And if their father has proved anything, it's that they have big shoes to fill. Just how much money does Oyedepo have? Bishop Oyedepo's influence extends globally through his preaching, writing, and leadership. With a net worth exceeding $150 million, he is regarded as one of the wealthiest preachers worldwide. He has faced controversies over his outspoken views on governance and societal issues, but remains a key figure in global Christianity. Each December, the Shiloh event hosted by his ministry attracts thousands of worshipers from around the world, highlighting his enduring legacy and global reach. And as early as 2011, Forbes named him the richest pastor in the world with an estimated net worth of $150 million. After a decade, there's no telling how much that figure would have increased now, given that this is over a decade ago. But even if his net worth were to remain the same, when you adjust for inflation, that makes him worth $210 million. And in 13 years, Bishop Oyedepo's wealth has definitely grown at an exponential rate. His assets span various industries, including real estate, publishing, and education, further expanding his financial empire. His Covenant University, one of the largest private Christian universities in Africa, is also a testament to his entrepreneurial spirit. So if Forbes were to report on his net worth today, it might shock some people just how much he's worth. He's even said himself that reports may show he has a 9-figure net worth. But the truth is, his wealth is invaluable, given that it's God-given. And that is not the claim of a person who's not confident he can go toe-to-toe with some of the richest people on earth. Where did he get all this money? With his many endeavors, it's easy to see where he gets his money from. Living Faith has over 6 million members across 147 countries. Bishop Oyedepo has a church membership twice the size of the population of Houston and Dallas. So, even if church members gave on average $5 in offerings every month, that's $360 million a year. And that's without factoring in the sales he makes from books. He has authored over 100 inspirational and Christian-based books, many of which are bestsellers in the faith and motivational genres. His books, including Understanding Financial Prosperity, The Winning Wisdom, and The Healing Balm, cover topics ranging from spiritual growth and faith to success principles and financial empowerment. Oyedepo's works are published through Dominion Publishing House, the publishing arm of his ministry, which has distributed millions of copies globally. It's estimated that he has sold millions of books, with some reports citing figures of over 10 million copies sold. The revenue from his books contributes significantly to the ministry's operations, though exact profit figures are not publicly disclosed. His books remain a cornerstone of his teachings, helping spread his message far beyond the church walls. Aside from motivational books, he has written some devotionals get sold every year, meaning he gets a steady stream of income from that. One thing that Bishop Oyedepo has that many pastors don't have, or at least to the magnitude that he does. Millions of people come to Canaan Land for Shiloh or tune in to the online program. With the multitude that came, they resided in Canaan Land, which means over 2.5 million people go to Canaan Land and stayed there for 5 days, and during that time they paid for accommodation and feeding, and this allows Bishop Oyedepo to enjoy another stream of income. Adding to that, Bishop Oyedepo also has real estate to his name, which brings him income, and his vast earnings have actually landed him in trouble before. Back in 2014, the UK Home Office has officially banned the Nigerian preacher from entering the country, but why they did this will leave you shocked. According to reports, the ban stems from an investigation by Britain's Charity Commission. The findings: alarming misuse of church funds. It was discovered that more than $16 million donated by worshippers in the UK for charitable purposes was funneled to Nigeria to support Bishop Oyedepo's personal ventures and other projects. While he claimed his church operated as a not-for-profit religious organization, investigators found evidence of these funds being repurposed for profitable ventures. The UK Charity Commission keeps a close eye on how charitable donations are spent and takes the illegal repatriation of funds very seriously. The scale of the transfers raised red flags, leading to the current legal and ethical scrutiny. To ensure enforcement, the UK government even issued directives to airlines, warning them not to carry Bishop Oyedepo on any flights to the country. This limits his activity in this part of the world. But given how global his ministry is, it's certain he's not bothered about it. What has he spent his money on? So if Bishop Oyedepo is earning hundreds of millions, then there's just one question left to ask. What exactly does he spend it on? Church projects. Well, the first expense Bishop Oyedepo incurs is the cost of running his ministry. With the pastors he has in all those branches, his wage bill reaches up to 10 billion naira annually. That's about $6 million, just to pay all the pastors and people who work in his office and all. But this is just accounting for his staff in Nigeria and not worldwide. So you just know that the amount is super hefty. But it doesn't seem to bother Bishop Oyedepo, because over time, he increases their salary and establishes new branches every year. In 2020, Bishop Oyedepo revealed his plan to increase the number of Living Faith churches by 10,000. This meant he had plans to double the number of branches, since there were 11,000 operating Living Faith churches in Nigeria at the time. This would involve building new structures, hiring new staff, and setting up logistics that would allow the church to start to thrive. The cost would be significant, but that's exactly what Bishop Oyedepo is about, spreading the gospel to as many people as possible. The financial burden of expanding his ministry on such a grand scale doesn't seem to deter him, as he sees it as an investment investment in the future of the kingdom of God. His vision for growth has always been ambitious, and with his resources, he continues to make strides in fulfilling it. This level of expansion is rare, but it demonstrates his commitment to reaching more souls and making a lasting impact globally. Charitable causes. And even after he has taken care of his responsibility as the head of his ministry, he still doesn't spend on himself just yet. Philanthropy is a central part of Bishop Oyedepo's ministry. If he's not building hospitals or schools, he is helping the less privileged in rural areas, making sure they have access to basic amenities and even quality education. How much exactly he spends doesn't normally get disclosed, and it varies. For example, back in 2013, Bishop Oyedepo spent as much as 37.25 million naira for charitable activities, which include donations to children's hospitals and relief to victims of natural disasters. And this is a recurring thing that Bishop Oyedepo does, so he's always spending on some philanthropy. It may not be the same as previous ones, but as long as someone is getting help, he's spending the money to make it happen. Investments in education. One thing Oyedepo is also known for is his contribution to education in Nigeria. Both Covenant University and Landmark University are tertiary institutions he has established, and setting up one university is very expensive, let alone two. But just so you know how much he spent on building them, Covenant University is ranked amongst the top 1,000 universities in the world and among the best in Nigeria. But tertiary institutions aren't the only educational investments that Bishop Oyedepo is making. He has also founded and financed Kingdom Heritage Model Schools, which are a series of primary and secondary schools, 156 of them across the whole of Nigeria. So Oyedepo is spending to make sure that people are both saved and learned. Personal expenses. And with these things done, that's when he starts spending on himself. Not much is known about Bishop Oyedepo's private life and what he does in his free time, but that doesn't mean his simple lifestyle isn't one of luxury. One thing Bishop Oyedepo has splashed big cash on personally is the comfort of his home. Canaanland is a mini-city that Bishop Oyedepo calls home. It's located in Ota, Ogun State, and spans a vast 20 square kilometers. It's not just a place to live. It houses many of his establishments, including his luxurious mansion, which is as grand as it is private. While the exact cost of his mansion is not publicly known, the fact that this information is kept under wraps, along with the limited photos available to the public, strongly suggests that it is so expensive it's in his best interest to keep it confidential. This home serves not only as his residence, but as a symbol of his success and influence, far removed from the lives of most ordinary Nigerians. In addition to his lavish residence in Canaanland, he also owns homes in both the UK and the US. However, due to certain restrictions in the UK, he tends to frequent North America more often. These international homes further highlight his global stature, with each providing a sanctuary that offers both comfort and privacy. But these international properties are just the beginning of the things that Oyedepo has spent his millions on. His investments span various sectors, including education, media, and infrastructure, making his lifestyle one that few can truly comprehend in its full scope. Vehicles. He has a fleet of cars as well, from Prado Jeeps to Range Rovers and other SUVs. The most expensive car he owns is a Rolls-Royce Cullinan worth over $300,000, which is up to $1.5 billion in Naira. This is a vehicle that only the richest of celebrities drive. And here's Bishop Oyedepo with not one, but two of them. That's right, he owns two Rolls-Royces, which means a total of over $500,000 and about 3 billion Naira spent on just two cars. Are there any rich black pastor you think makes or spends as much as he does? Let us know in the comments below. Well, this might shock you to know that he didn't even spend money on those two exotic cars. They were actually gifts from Bishop David Oyedepo and Pastor Biodun Fatoyinbo for his 70th birthday. So while he may spend money maintaining them, he didn't spend any of his millions acquiring them. However, there is a vehicle that he did pay for. which is so expensive it makes his Rolls-Royces look like simple family SUVs from a dealership. Bishop Oyedepo has not one or two, but 4 private jets. His collection includes the Bombardier Challenger 604, Grumman Gulfstream Y, Gulfstream V, and the Gulfstream G5. The Bombardier Challenger 604, which is the least expensive in the fleet, cost around $20 million. It's a luxury jet capable of flying 4,000 nautical miles with a maximum speed of Mach 0.82, seating up to 19 passengers. The Grumman Gulfstream I, a classic twin-engine jet, offers a range of 2,200 nautical miles and a cruising speed of 350 knots, comfortably seating between 12 and 24 passengers. The Gulfstream V, valued at about $45 million, is a top-tier jet designed for long-haul flights with a range of 6,500 nautical miles and a top speed of Mach 0.885. This model is known for its spacious cabin and luxurious features, catering to top executives and global elites. The Gulfstream G5, with a price tag of no less than $61 million, is the crown jewel of his collection. It shares a similar range with the GV but offers more advanced technology and greater comfort for long-distance travel. Maintaining these 4 jets costs Oyedepo over $3 million annually, covering routine maintenance, insurance, and pilot salaries. These jets not only represent his immense affluence, but are essential tools for his global ministry, enabling him to travel to various countries and fulfill his religious and business commitments. Although Oyedepo sees this as a necessary expense, citing that he was told by God that he would fly, his critics argue that these lavish expenditures are extravagant. Nevertheless, Bishop Oyedepo feels his expenses are justified by the success of his ministry and his responsibilities as a global leader. While we've seen things that Bishop Oyedepo has spent his money on, let's now have a look at what he's currently spending his money on. That's right, Bishop Oyedepo is embarking on several ambitious projects, each requiring such large investments that they rival the budgets of entire nations. Construction projects. The first big project he's working on is the construction of an airstrip in Canaan land. To Bishop Oyedepo, it's not enough to have his own aircraft. He wants to have his own private landing strip instead of having to land at an airport. The construction of this airstrip was approved by the federal government. And by the time it is completed, Bishop Oyedepo may not have broken the bank, but he will have spent at least $4.5 million. But when that's done, Bishop Oyedepo has sights on something bigger, the completion of the megachurch arena, the Ark. This grand vision involves not just the structure, but an entire complex designed to elevate the experience of churchgoers. The construction of the 24-story, 100,000 capacity auditorium is set to be completed within the next 2 years. By the time it is finished, it will become the biggest church venue in Africa, surpassing Glory Dome in Abuja. A church of such monumental scale will not come at a small cost. It is believed that when the building is completed, Bishop Oyedepo will have spent over 100 billion naira on it, which is roughly $60 million. Some Hollywood movies don't even gross that much in the box office, but here is a bishop spending that much on a church venue, an investment that shows the immense ambition and vision behind his religious empire. His most important investment. But there's one expense that Bishop Oyedepo doesn't see as money spent, but money truly invested and how he is reaping the reward. And that is the acquisition of the land he used for Canaan land and the building of his mini-city there. He acquired the land back in the 90s for a sum that was just over $1 million. And in the last 3 decades, he has built and expanded it. Purchasing land in the surrounding area costs about 4 billion naira, and even though he has expanded Canaan land from 2 square kilometers to 20, he's still not done yet, with eyes on building the biggest housing estate in Africa. And these are just some of his projects that the public is aware of. And we know there's more in store, because Bishop Oyedepo has a business-minded approach to things, which means he's not done with expanding his mini-city. There you have it, how Bishop Oyedepo made his millions, how he spends it, and what he plans to do with it in the near future. What aspect of Bishop Oyedepo's wealth shocked you the most? We'd like to know in the comments section. And if you think Bishop Oyedepo is the only one living and spending in luxury, watch how we exposed some hidden truths of the richest black pastor in the world.